In a world where spirituality faces constant challenges, the Virgin Mary's messages through Mirjana and Medjugorje serve as a beacon of hope and guidance. These revelations call for a return to faith, urging believers to embrace prayer, particularly the Rosary, and to participate regularly in the sacraments of the Eucharist and confession. Such practices are essential for maintaining a state of grace and aligning one's life with divine will. The Virgin Mary's maternal concern emphasizes the importance of living out Jesus' teachings through acts of love, compassion, and charity. By embodying these virtues, individuals become beacons of hope, inspiring others to seek spiritual renewal. In times of natural disasters and global crises, her messages remind us to trust in God's providence and to find strength in communal prayer and support. Medjugorje has become a significant pilgrimage site, attracting millions seeking spiritual solace and renewal. The Vatican has acknowledged the positive spiritual fruits experienced by pilgrims, such as conversions and vocations, while maintaining caution regarding the authenticity of the apparitions. This balanced approach encourages devotion and spiritual growth without making definitive claims about the supernatural nature of the events. In embracing the Virgin Mary's messages, believers are called to deepen their faith, support one another, and live lives that reflect Christ's love. Through regular participation in the sacraments, dedicated prayer, and acts of charity, individuals can navigate the challenges of the modern world with hope and resilience, guided by divine grace and the intercession of the Blessed Mother. Recent developments on Medjugorje apparitions. Reuters. Pope Francis allows devotion to Medjugorje, where Virgin Mary said to appear 97 days ago. New York Post. Vatican refuses to authenticate controversial visions of Virgin Mary at popular Bosnian shrine 97 days ago. Associated Press. Vatican moves to adapt to hoaxes. Internet and overhauls its process for evaluating visions of Mary 222 days ago. Sources. In a world fraught with challenges to spirituality and faith, the Virgin Mary's messages at Medjugorje serve as a beacon of hope and guidance. Since 1981, Medjugorje, a small village in Bosnia-Herzegovina, has been a site of alleged apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary, who is said to impart messages calling for peace, prayer, fasting, and conversion. Medjugorje. The central themes of these messages emphasize the importance of spiritual renewal and a return to the core values of faith. The Virgin Mary calls upon believers to engage deeply in prayer, particularly the Rosary, and to participate regularly in the sacraments, especially the Eucharist and confession. These practices are seen as vital pathways to strengthen one's relationship with God and to receive divine grace necessary to navigate the complexities of modern life. Pope Francis has acknowledged the spiritual fruits associated with Medjugorje. In September 2024, the Vatican granted approval for devotion linked to Medjugorje, recognizing the abundant spiritual benefits received by pilgrims. This decision allows for official pilgrimages to the site, reflecting the Church's recognition of the positive impact on the faithful. Vatican News. The Virgin Mary's messages also underscore the significance of living out the teachings of Jesus through acts of love, compassion, and charity. Believers are encouraged to support one another, especially in times of trial, embodying the Christian call to love one's neighbor. This communal support is essential in fostering a strong, united faith community capable of withstanding spiritual and worldly challenges. In light of these messages, individuals are invited to reflect on their spiritual lives, to seek reconciliation through confession, and to nourish their souls through the Eucharist. By embracing these practices and heeding the Virgin Mary's call, believers can find the strength and guidance needed to lead lives of virtue and faith, serving as beacons of hope in a troubled world. Recent developments on Medjugorje apparitions. Reuters. Pope Francis allows devotion to Medjugorje, where Virgin Mary said to appear 97 days ago. The Times. Visions of Virgin Mary bring economic miracle to Bosnian town 97 days ago. New York Post. Vatican refuses to authenticate controversial visions of Virgin Mary at popular Bosnian shrine 97 days ago. Sources. Amidst pain, faith in God and the Virgin Mary's intercession shines bright in a world increasingly clouded by uncertainty and suffering. There remains an eternal and unwavering light, faith in God and the intercession of the Virgin Mary. This latest message from Medjugorje calls believers to stand firm, even in the face of life's harshest trials. It serves as a profound reminder of the transformative power of faith and prayer, urging all to embark on a journey of spiritual renewal, sincere conversion, and a life anchored in truth and love. The call to support spiritual leaders, the Virgin Mary's message shines a compassionate spotlight on the challenges faced by Pope Francis and the Catholic Church as they navigate the turbulent waters of today's spiritual landscape. In these trying times, the Pope stands as a pillar of faith and guidance for millions, yet he too bears the heavy burden of leading a flock that often faces doubts and distractions. The faithful are called to pray fervently for Pope Francis, seeking divine strength and wisdom for his leadership. His role as the shepherd of the Church underscores the importance of his decisions and the spiritual security he provides. By offering prayers and support, believers can help sustain the Pope and the Church in their mission to guide humanity through spiritual trials. This collective prayer not only uplifts spiritual leaders, but also unites the faithful in a shared purpose of hope and renewal. Battling evil with prayer and devotion, evil, in its many forms, unbridled desires, corruption, and temptations, looms large in today's world. The message from Medjugorje underscores the spiritual struggle that confronts every soul. It calls on believers to resist these temptations and find strength in faith and prayer. In an era where distractions often draw people away from God, the Virgin Mary urges a rededication to spiritual focus, challenging the faithful to rise above the materialism and chaos that threaten their connection to the divine. One particularly poignant challenge is the decline in religious vocations, a trend attributed to the increasing allure of worldly pursuits over spiritual commitment. This decline is seen as both a symptom and a cause of spiritual neglect. However, the Virgin Mary's message inspires hope, calling individuals to reflect on their own spiritual paths and take action to counter this drift. Through prayer, acts of service, and unwavering dedication, the faithful can rekindle the fire of devotion, drawing closer to God and inspiring others to do the same. The two pillars of spiritual life at the core of this message lies a profound emphasis on the Eucharist and the Rosary, two sacred practices that form the foundation of Catholic spirituality. The Rosary, often referred to as a weapon of peace, is a powerful tool for intercession, healing, and comfort in times of distress. By meditating on the life of Christ through the mysteries of the Rosary, believers can draw closer to God and find the strength to face life's challenges. Equally vital is the Eucharist, the sacred nourishment that sustains spiritual growth. Receiving the body and blood of Christ in Holy Communion strengthens the soul, fortifies the spirit, and provides the courage needed to confront adversity. Regular participation in the sacraments is not merely a ritual, but a profound encounter with divine grace, renewing the believer's resolve to live a life of virtue and love. Courage through faith, through prayer and devotion, believers are called to find the courage to stand firm against the forces of evil and despair. These practices serve as more than personal spiritual acts. They are lifelines to the divine, reinforcing the connection between the faithful and God. Even in the face of adversity, these rituals provide the strength to persevere, to hope, and to love. A message of transformation and hope. This message from Medjugorje is not one of despair, but of profound hope and transformation. It reminds believers that even amidst darkness, they are never alone. The Virgin Mary, as a loving intercessor, stands beside her children, offering guidance, protection, and the promise of God's unfailing grace. Believers are invited to renew their faith, to support one another, and to stand as beacons of light in a world yearning for hope. By embracing prayer, the sacraments, and acts of compassion, they can transform their lives and inspire others to do the same. In these times of trial, let this message serve as a rallying cry for unity, faith, and love. Together, under the protective mantle of the Virgin Mary, the faithful can navigate the challenges of the modern world with courage and grace, illuminating the path for others to follow. What are your thoughts on this profound message? Share your reflections below, and let us walk together in faith, guided by the light of Christ and the love of the Virgin Mary. Faith in action. The urgent call of Our Lady of Fatima, the message of Our Lady of Fatima continues to echo through time, resonating with humanity's need for hope and redemption. Both a promise and a warning, her prophecies emphasize the urgency of conversion and penance, underscoring the reality of the threats facing our world. Her timeless plea serves as a beacon, reminding us that through unwavering faith, we can illuminate even the darkest circumstances. This is not merely a historical account. It is a living call to action, urging believers to renew their trust in God and embrace the intercession of the Virgin Mary to confront the challenges of our times. The path to hope, faith, and conversion. Our Lady of Fatima's message, as reinforced by this current call, is an urgent reminder that spiritual renewal is essential in the face of global uncertainty. Conversion is not just about turning away from sin, but actively turning toward God, embracing His mercy, and allowing His light to guide our lives. Through prayer and penance, humanity can invite divine intervention to mitigate impending calamities and bring about healing in the world. This plea isn't a passive one, it's an invitation to take part in an extraordinary mission. Every prayer, every act of repentance, every effort to grow in faith becomes a piece of the divine puzzle that can transform despair into hope. The Virgin Mary calls us to trust in her maternal care and the infinite mercy of God, whose grace provides strength and stability amid life's storms. Strength through the sacraments, the message emphasizes the transformative power of prayer and the sacraments as pillars of spiritual strength. The Eucharist, the Rosary, and confession are not mere rituals, they are lifelines to divine grace. The Eucharist nourishes the soul, fortifying believers for the battles they face. The Rosary, as a prayer of intercession and contemplation, becomes a shield against evil and a source of comfort during hardships. Confession provides an opportunity for renewal, freeing the soul from the chains of sin and empowering believers to live in alignment with God's will. These sacraments are the tools we need to remain spiritually grounded in a world filled with challenges. They remind us that no matter how turbulent the times may seem, we can find peace and renewal in God's presence. Faith as the rock of stability. As the message draws to a close, it offers a heartfelt reminder. Faith in God and the Virgin Mary is the unshakable foundation that keeps the soul secure, even in the face of life's greatest trials. This is not merely a call to religious practice. It is an invitation to an active and transformative spiritual journey. Faith is not a passive state. It is a dynamic force that provides hope, courage, and a sense of purpose. Believers are urged to embrace this journey wholeheartedly, actively participating in their spiritual growth through prayer, community, and acts of love. In an age of uncertainty, these practices serve as a compass, guiding individuals toward inner peace and divine protection. The power of prayerful unity. At the heart of this message is a powerful appeal for prayerful unity. In times of trial, the faithful are called to come together, not just as individuals, but as a community, united by their shared trust in God's providence. Prayer becomes a bridge that connects the human heart to divine grace, fostering a spirit of solidarity that can withstand any challenge. The Virgin Mary's tender care serves as a source of comfort and reassurance, reminding believers that they are never alone. Together, as a unified body of faith, they can find the strength to overcome obstacles, deepen their connection with God, and support one another in love and hope. A time for renewal. This message is a clarion call for spiritual renewal, a chance to deepen our ties with God and one another. Through dedication, prayer, and the sacraments, the faithful can find the strength to face life's trials with courage and resilience. The Virgin Mary invites us to place our trust in her intercession and God's boundless mercy, knowing that even in the darkest times, there is always a light to guide us. Let us take this message to heart and allow it to inspire us to action. May it lead us to live lives filled with faith, love, and hope as we draw closer to God and to each other. Together, we can stand firm on the rock of faith, finding solace in the Virgin Mary's compassionate care and strength in the promises of God. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Your presence and dedication make these reflections meaningful and impactful. Let us walk forward together, united in prayer, hope, and the light of Christ's love.